Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we have Lior Brauer. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I'm good, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to have you on the show because this is going to be both familiar and different because I think a lot of times on the show what we're doing is we're building apps, and this one we're going to be talking about like teaching developers to build apps by building an app, right? So
Yeah, it's
I
getting
love the sort of meta angle that we're taking here today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into what we're going to do and how it works and everything, let's talk a little bit about you. So for folks who aren't familiar with your work, can you give us a bit of a background?
by myself. Sure. Yeah. My name is Lior. I'm a software engineer. Been doing it for, probably my whole life since I was like 7 and I got my first computer. But professionally for the last 12 or 13 years, worked at a couple companies at Monday.com, if you know him.
Hmm.
Lived in New York for 3 years, and I worked at Greenhouse, and currently at Wilco, and having a lot of fun.
Great, great, great. Yeah, I Monday is one of the companies that I've I've only dabbled in the software, but I know about it because they did such a good job of like blanketing the earth with pre-roll ads.
Yes.
Which,
Become a
like, for
meme of
me,
the
I actually really like that.
Mhm.
I enjoy making that kind of stuff. That's actually one of the things I want to help companies do in this
Mhm.
new iteration of Learn with Jason as an independent entity.
Mhm.
But they were one of the first companies that I saw really like hammer on that point, and it feels like
Yes.
it worked because it was like nobody had heard of Monday, and suddenly a lot of people were using them.
I think they did a terrific job, and it's top notch team. I have nothing but praise. So yeah, shout out if anybody's watching the stream.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Wilco. So Wilco has been on the show before. We had Shem on the show, and
Yes.
actually, let me grab a link to that while I'm thinking about it. Let's get Shem. There's Shem's episode. I'm gonna drop that into the chat here for everybody, and there we go. Yeah. All right. So Wilco is, as I've heard it described, a flight simulator for developers, which I think is a very cool way to phrase that. Um, what does that mean though? Like when we're saying, all right, I'm a developer, I'm going into a flight simulator. What's happening?
Right. So I think it's a good analogy. I don't know if it works marketing wise or not, but I like the analogy as well, because if you know how pilots train, sometimes they have to train in all sorts of different scenarios.
Hmm.
You don't necessarily want to happen in real life, but you still want to be prepared
Sure.
for, right? So I think that's kind of like the similar idea where Wilco is about. I think our philosophy is learning is kind of like I would say a two-pronged thing. Where part of it, what one part is reading, just being exposed to I would say passive information, right? You read
Hmm.
something or you watch a YouTube video tutorial of some sort, and the other part is doing, and that kind of like solidifies your knowledge slowly, like by having both pillars. So
Right.
what Wilco is trying to do is basically help you, do those things in a simulated real life environment as much as
Hmm.
possible. Like we try to use like everyday tools that we use and we know that professional engineers, software engineers use in their jobs, their day to day to work, and but without the potential consequences if you don't meet your deadline, if something breaks, if you don't know how to fix it. We've built this product that basically allows you to experience different scenarios, different challenges, as close to reality, to real
Hmm.
life, but without the hassle, without the stress of what happens if I make a mistake, what happens if I don't know, and we try
Gotcha.
to give you the support you need to learn by doing.
Right. Yeah. That's so. What I love about this too is, as a developer, we we get practice in the code base that we work on, right? And so if I join a company that has a legacy code base that's like Backbone, and then it's got some jQuery on top of that, and then some React on top of that, I'm going to become really good at wrangling that specific flavor of legacy code. But if I then join another company and that company's got a different legacy stack of, let's say they're running Angular, and then on top of their Angular they've like sprinkled in some different reactive state management libraries and those sorts of things, and
Yes.
you start to see like, boy, I feel like I've never done any code at all when I step into this type of code base versus the one that I've done here. And so what I like about Wilco is it's this opportunity to get dropped into unfamiliar code bases in a way that will let you expand your ability without having to switch jobs, without having to do nights and weekends on some other project, or some of the things that you might have to do otherwise to start getting this experience. You can instead just use your 10% time at work to like drop into the simulator and work on a production product that's very different from the one that you do during your day job. And that to me is I think the major appeal when I heard about Wilco. I love that idea of being able to very quickly dive into something practical and hit the weird edge cases and like, oh yeah, this thing is broken. Oh, because the other thing that was cool about it is like you start and you have a product manager and you have a team lead and you've got these characters, right, that kind of come in and they talk to you in Slack and tell you like, hey, this is what we need. Here's some details. Go talk to this person if you need help. Like, and it's cool because it feels realistic. It's not like full video gamey where you just get like it's unrealistic because things just kind of happen in a very specific sequence.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I think it's a really cool sort of thing, and I believe my only concern about it was how the heck are you going to build all of the things that developers need to learn, right? Like how is the Wilco team, which is pretty small, going to build out the hundreds of lessons that we need if we really want to build these kind of like practical and real world things? But it sounds like y'all have something to address that.
That's right. Yep. So
All right, so let's talk about that.
Sure. Yeah, I think it was always part of the vision in the last kind of spacing on a time when we released it. But basically, the second phase after doing like building out the product has always been at first we as Wilco as the Wilco team we generate some of the content, some of the we call them quests because it's kind of like it has like a gamified theme to it. So it's different quests like you do in a video game. And, we built out what we thought could be a good, catalog for like a starter catalog, and we've been slowly expanding it. But at the same time, we've been building what we call the Quest Builder, which is a tool that we want to offer all our users, the community, basically anybody who has an idea or wants to teach a certain lesson about coding, and you can use our product to basically build their own content, build their own quest.
Very cool. Yeah. So that kind of overcomes that concern about just bandwidth limitations. If one team has to build everything, there's no way we can build it all. But if it's opened up to be pluggable, then the interesting piece of this is, so if I can build a quest, then it's possible for me on, let's say, the internal tooling or internal education team at a company to put together like, this is our stack. We want you to level up on different things that we think will be valuable to our developers. And they put together a suite of quests that are like, that could be your onboarding, for example. Like, hey, welcome to the company. Go do these Wilco quests that'll introduce you to our code base in a low risk way. Or, like any number of things, right? Here's how you onboard to this new team, or here's how you, you do. So I can think of a bunch of things, but I'm going to stop pitching my own ideas and instead, what have you seen from your audience? Like, how are people using quests?
Yeah, so it's been super exciting, I have to say, and kind of surprising the way people, the ideas that people I've seen like trying to do with the system and working out, and it's been a little bit of a cat and mouse game sometimes. Where like users are kind of like coming up with ideas that we haven't even thought of. We're like, okay, we're just trying to keep up with giving them the right tools, the right API to materialize whatever their creativity
Right.
comes up to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's been
Very cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. So we're going to be diving into the quest builder and building our own custom quest for Wilco from scratch. Is there any context, anything I need to know before we start diving in here?
not really. I mean, I think we'll go through it. There's some documentation. I'll try to maybe help you as your navigator. You'll be your driver, and I guess we'll do a kind of a pairing session.
Yes.
Cool. So I'll try to speed some things up and maybe give you shorten the barrier there so we don't bore everybody while we read some documentation. But I think it's mostly pretty straightforward. I mean, you can give us some feedback. We're always improving.
Great. Yeah. All right. So with that being said, then why don't we just go ahead and jump right on over into it? I'll take us over here and kick us off by saying this episode, like every episode, is being live captioned. We have Rachel here from Wilco Captioning putting down all these words, and it's on the homepage here in this iframe, but it's also, if you hover over your Twitch player, the closed caption button works now. So that's neat. You can follow along there. That is made possible through the support of our sponsors, Netlify, NX, New Relic, and we just got the contract signed, Pluralsight. So thank you to all those sponsors for kicking in and making the show more accessible to more people. We are talking today to Lior. You can find Lior on Twitter. Just head on over there and give a little follow. And we are talking today about Wilco, which is at trywilco.com. You can head over there and get your account right now. So I have, let's see, I'm going to get into my dashboard here. So here's my Wilco dashboard. I have an account. I set this up when I was on the show with Shem, and I haven't actually looked at it since. So what should I do first if I want to get into building a quest?
Right. So we recently released the quest builder for all users. You can find it on the left side menu. As you can see, there's a bunch of icons. If you hover over them, it's the the second from bottom, from last, called the quest builder. And yep, now you're there. And as you can see, it says build your own dev challenge. Want to create Wilco quest? Read the documentation, create the quest, and upload it using this page. So I think the first step would be to click on the read documentation, and we can. I'll kind of try to guide you through it. We have our SDK documentation here. I think it's pretty straightforward. There's all the links you need with quick jump to sections. Okay. And I think start here is exactly where we want to go. And the process involves basically taking the quest template that you see the link up there. That's if you click on it, that leads to a GitHub repo on our public repo. And exactly, you can use this template, clone it, and that's where we'll start. You can basically be working on the code. I think on your computer, you can clone it. Or work on GitHub code spaces if you'd like, if you have code spaces enabled. And at the end of it, the process is like you make the quest with this repo, and then we can upload it in several different ways, which I can show you.
Got it. Okay, so I've got my quest builder here, and then I need to get this local. So I'm going to grab it, head over to my, move into the Learn with Jason, and then I'm going to GitHub repo clone this one. We'll move in, and let's open it up and take a look. All right. So here we go. We've got a README. I've been chided for not starting there before.
Always a good, it's the RTFM, right?
Like right.
manual, or the README in this case. Right. So the README is, mostly for it doesn't, it doesn't have any bearing on the quest whatsoever, but it is good for self documentation. Basically, as you can see, we have a template here, kind of like giving you the place to describe your quest, giving it a title, level, some level means like how hard you think it is, the skills that people can learn using doing this quest. All this metadata is also in our quest.yaml file, which is right next to the README. And here
cool.
we also
Okay.
have, and this is the example one we have of a real quest we call funnel drop. You can see, you can take that example and kind of change it up if you'd like.
Okay.
And I think we should start by, do you have an idea for a quest? I think
Yeah, I had so I wrote an article a while back on a let's see, I'll just go over to the blog here. I wrote this post about avoiding blocking
yes.
async await calls, right? So the problem is that if you use async await and aren't thinking about how all of that works, you end up, if you make a bunch of network requests, you'll make them sequential, and so each one blocks the one before it. So the idea of this article is to show somebody how to not do that, and I thought this would make a nice. It's small, so I think we'll have enough time to do the whole thing on the show today.
That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. So then we would call this parallelize async await.
Great.
Async await calls. And then we can say something.
Even like maybe like if we want to get to the, usually you can finish up once you have your quest complete. It's nice to have all the data, but yeah, if you want to write something quickly, that's cool.
Yeah, we can we'll give it a little placeholder. Let's say this one's probably intermediate, because you got to understand promises and all that kind of stuff. And then I think we're going to need to do this part later.
Right. The steps part is actually a reference to the actual steps. Every part. So quests is made out of. Just to give like some context, we're building a quest, and a quest is basically a series of steps that we write, and it's kind of like a script in a way of how the quest will play out. Imagine writing a script for, I don't know, a scenario in a video game or in an exchange between you and some NPC, some character, and we have some bots in the system that kind of talk to you, give you guidance. So that's what we'll be writing. We're wearing the hat of Wilco or a quest builder, right?
Okay. So if we think through how I would want this to go, if I take these out and let's instead think about our own steps, we would have you would need to identify the bottleneck. You would need to let's see, remove. I guess there's really only there's only 2 steps here. So we would identify the bottleneck, and then once we've identified it, we would parallelize async await calls.
That sounds exactly what I would have done. So cool. I think we're on the same wavelength here.
Great. Okay. So then to do that, I'm going to open up one of these so we can look at what's going on. And I'll put these side by side so that we can kind of see how all of this is going to line up. If I can find the handle, there it is. Yeah, come on. Here you go. All right. So then I can make that wrap. And let's talk a little bit about what this one does. So this is our setup. So if I just kind of start let's make one of these here.
Yes.
Learning objectives. So this is what we want to accomplish.
Yeah, in this particular step.
Okay.
It's kind of more metadata.
Yeah.
It's not part of the quest itself, the actual experience itself, but yeah.
Got it. All right. And then with the hints, we'll do that later. Okay.
Awesome.
So would it make, is there like a good, before we start writing code for this, is there a good example of like something quick we can try to see this happening so that we can then kind of come back and, work on it with a little more context about what we're changing?
Sure. I think you can actually take this, what you've just done. Maybe if you
Uh-huh.
want to take the text, because I think this is a workable example that you can change. So we can start if you just want to get a feel of like how this plays out in Wilco.
Uh-huh.
We can take what you have right now. I think it might not compile kind of, or like the validation won't work because you need to, or maybe you did. Did you change the file? Oh, you did everything. So you have the steps, you gave it an ID, and the steps correspond to appropriate files, right?
Not yet, but I can change that now. So we'll call this
Yeah,
one, oh wait, what were you before? It's identify bottleneck.
great.
Okay. And then the other one I think is still parallelize async
Parallel.
await. Okay, so I need to change this one. All
Cool.
right, and then we can get rid of this one.
Yep.
All right, so not, do I need to, in this one here, I guess I can just drop this in and that'll make it all work, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think it's good. So we can now, so we offer, you can look in the documentation, and I can tell you at the same time that
Here.
we have a few ways. If you see uploading and testing your request, it's on the left part. So we offer a few ways to do it. I think that like the most streamlined way is setting up some stuff on your GitHub that basically every time you push to main, it will update for you. But I think if we want to skip all this thing, you can do kind of a manual thing, which is just like basically zipping this folder and then just uploading it via our web UI.
Got it. Okay, so it was Wilco Quest Builder down here, there. All right, so I just zip this.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And then if you go back to Wilco,
I'm gonna move this into my downloads folder so that I don't accidentally commit that here.
yeah.
And then I just drop it right in.
I don't know if I think you have to press upload. I don't know if you have the
gotcha.
drag and drop yet. Yeah.
Okay.
And just, yep, there we go. Let's see if the validation works.
Description length must be at least 10 characters long. Okay, fine.
ATKs.
Okay, so we'll just do add description and take that. And then do I need to do that in any of the other ones or?
I honestly am not sure. We'll we'll have to follow what the system says for now.
Okay, so we'll just do more here,
Yep.
compress. Drop this in here. That should replace.
Yep.
Good. And then when we come back out here, we'll upload again. Hello? There. That's a fun bug that showed up on OS X recently where like when you first open it, it just does something weird. And I'm like, what, but why? And then you click to a different folder and back and it's fine. Is this, I can just test it?
Yeah, there's some, as you can see, there's some metadata and like a default image. But yeah, you can tell. And now you're going to play it as a user. So you can see at the top, it says snack testing environment to kind of let you know that you're in this testing mode. This is not a real live production app. And as you can see, I don't think those achievements are related. It's just, it looks like you haven't been in the system for a while. So you're catching up on all your many achievements. Good job there. And as you can see now, we can test I think it's Keen. We have a bunch of characters. I think that the default one and for the template one is Keen.
Okay.
And I can't exactly see what it's saying here below. Oh yeah, you have to run. Okay, so another part here that we should do as a player now. Now we're wearing the hat of a Wilco player or user. You as a user, you get a default code repo, which is part of Wilco's experience. I just should say, if the audience is seeing that says anything over there, anything is like the made up company that you join as an engineer as part of playing Wilco. It's
Got it.
So you see you have a link at the top to get to your GitHub repo. That's your repo from when you signed up. It's been updated a minute ago. You need to clone that as well as a player now, and
Oh,
then
interesting. Okay.
be able to run it locally. That basically is an app that is a kind of like a marketplace app where you can add items and add comments on them. It's
Good. I
that's
still
like
have it.
the oh, awesome. So you might need to
Oh wait,
pull
what main? Let me check out the main.
I think pull might not work as well because we ask you to it worked. Okay, that's great. But we have a script as you can see in the snack tab. Keen is telling you to run the start quest sh script. If you run
Oh,
that,
I
it
gotcha.
will do it for you, like get the most updated parts, stashing any existing changes, resetting your
Oh, cool.
local.
Okay. Cool.
So now you're and then also if you haven't done it yet, Docker Compose up. I don't know if
Do
you
I
have
have
things
Docker
set up.
running? Let's see. Is the Docker daemon running? I don't know. At least I still have it installed. Oh no, what are you gonna do?
But it could be, I mean, if you feel like running it in the background might be useful for later.
Should be okay. We should be okay.
Cool.
Let's see. Let's try that one more time. Building.
Okay, this might take a few seconds or around a minute, but I think you can go back to Keen meanwhile and ask him and tell them that you're ready. And now we see basically the scripts or the step that we have in our in the quest that you've uploaded being played out.
Okay. So what that means is, let's see. We started here, and so Keen. So we're sending a bot message. The person that the bot is sending as is Keen, and then it sends these messages. So we've identified a very concerning. Okay. So these are the messages that Keen is sending.
That's right.
And then when there's a trigger, which I assume is I send literally anything, then
That's right.
Keen says if the text matches the regex of mobile, Android, iOS, iPhone, non-web. Okay, so basically if I've identified that the issue is one of these,
Exactly.
then it moves on and does a bot message, or it says try again. Okay, all right, I got this. So then in our case, what we would want is we would do something like, so how do I can I put code in there, or like it looks like here it's a link to Google Drive. If I wanted him to review like a file, how would I do that?
Yes. So it's a great question. Right now, the part where you can put your own code or have the repo in a certain state, like a start state, is not available yet. But
Okay.
I think for what you're trying to do, I think we actually do have already a file that could be a good starting point. I think if you look in the repo that you've cloned, like your own user repo, if you look under, or you can search if you do, press T and look for item fetcher. I'm pretty sure it's a non-optimized. Yeah, that's right. Let me make sure I'm right. Yep, right. I think this is like kind of like a good starting point. Like ideally, we'd like to optimize promise all, right?
Yep.
So we can use this for now. The functionality for like writing your own custom code is in the making.
Got it. Okay. So great. So we'll start here, and then we can go in and fix this. Okay. So I'm going to come out here and say we noticed that it's a little slow, and we want to load the items and comments. Take a look at the we'll make this pretty easy, I think. The item fetcher. Right, so we can do something like that. Once you found it, please drop me a message here and let me know what you think the problem is, right? And so then on a user message, we can come back, and if the user message task, we'll say if it matches like blocking or async or await or promise, or that's good enough.
Waterfall.
Oh yeah, waterfall. That feels good. Then we'll say good catch. And then for this, do we need this to go to the next step, right? So we can't say what to do in the next step yet. We would do more of like a good catch, okay? And then we finish the step, and then this is all, we'll leave that part fine. And then when we get in here, now we want to parallelize, we'll leave that. We'll leave that. And then we say, okay, now that we know where the bottleneck is, go ahead and fix the bug. I like the humor here. This is good. Or I guess we probably want to include like exactly what's expected. So if I want them to open a pull request, how do we do that?
Right. So first of all, it's good to prompt them in text. I would say, just so they, the users, the players would know what they're expected to do.
Okay.
And the second part is, so as you can see, like we're writing a YAML file with our own kind of like DSL. So I think we can like look at the reference from the documentation real quick. And I think we have one of the actions is expecting a pull request. So I think that should be building your quest. What we want is a trigger, I think.
Trigger.
I think.
What are my actions, triggers? Triggers and payloads, okay.
Let's see what options here. So we have user message. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the
GitHub PR. GitHub. So I want GitHub PR opened, right?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, I do believe so. Because basically what you want to do is now like they're been prompted, and then for the quest to continue, you're waiting for the trigger is that they open the PR.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, so GitHub PR opened, and then the conditions we want to check. Am I able to check the content of the code?
Yes, you can do that. Again, if you look at the documentation, I think we have a section about basically what we can do. We can utilize first of all, it's a good question. What would you want to test about the PR? Let's talk about that.
So I think what I'd want to test is we'd just be looking for like await promise.all as the text that we want to check for. So if we could match that, not that, just one of those, that feels like that would be the right. It's good enough. Like, I mean, we'd probably want to come up with some edge cases and things, but for now, we know that that's where we want somebody to go. So I would want to do that.
Yep, that's definitely a possibility. You can like assert on the, like find and file, kind of like make sure that the PR on a certain file matches some texts.
Gotcha.
If you wanted to go a little more advanced, we also have the option of basically writing a unit test that will run against the PR. And, if you look at if you wanted to actually test the implementation, you could actually, import like kind of like a jest test.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We
Well,
can do that.
okay. So let's start course, and we'll test to see. Like I see one here. Like, is the file modified? So that's kind of cool. We can just check whether or
Yeah,
not they were even in the right file.
right. You can
So condition. I'm gonna click on this one and do if GitHub file is modified, and then we check the. Okay. So this makes sense. I'm gonna take
yeah.
this one back over. Go to here, and we'll say if. Oh boy. Okay, YAML here. Fine. Okay. So that's fine. And then we want to check if the file is modified, and the file we are after is just in a front end source components item utils. Can I just jump over to that one and get the direct link?
Yes.
Nope, that's the wrong thing. What am I? Oh God. Copy path.
Copy path.
That's
Yeah.
what I wanted. Okay.
Nice.
So with that, it should say you found the file, right? We'll improve this as we go.
Yes. And in this case, you can also, this can finish the step, but for the full cycle, maybe you want to, like, Keen can also be like the code reviewer. And you can do, so in this condition, he's like checking for the file being modified. And then you can send a message on Snack. He can also add a comment on the PR, and he can also approve the PR as part of the condition.
Cool. All right, cool. Yeah. Let's make that happen. So I want my, is it under GitHub Actions?
Could be.
Backend, front end configuration. It's probably under these triggers and payloads because there's a bunch of GitHub stuff. So GitHub PR. No, that's not it.
For the word approve, see if it's any of the
GitHub PR
GitHub.
comment.
Yes. That's an action you can take.
So with this one, this is Keen responding to the PR.
Right.
And then with the approve, there's a message for the approval. Okay, this is cool. So I'm going to grab this section here. And let's see, this is the do. So the action ID is GitHub PR approve. And then we want params. Oops. So we'll grab, you go away, grab this. Okay, that looks good.
Yeah.
Just keep that straight up. All right. So theoretically, if we do this now, I should be able to make a PR that modifies this file and get this PR approval.
I believe so, unless we made some mistake, and then we'll have to debug real quickly.
Let's try it. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to drop this one down here again. We're going to replace. I'm going back to Wilco. Here. I'm going to reload to get this. Oops. Upload new version. Okay. Upload new version. Deal with whatever that bug is. Oops. GitHub PR opened is not a valid trigger type. What?
Oh, GitHub PR open. Let me look real quick in my in the documentation as well.
Triggers and payloads.
Oh. Yes, I think, sorry, the trigger type should be the GitHub PR lifecycle status.
Oh.
And then you can,
okay.
It's kind of like the main, that's the type. And then you can assert, or you can do like an if or a switch case on the type of event. And then you can see if this was a PR open, you can do one thing. If it was a, so the flow node should, yeah.
So type, and then I put like an event type here. Is that right?
I think, let me see, share. Yeah, let me see here.
Or is it in params?
It should be, so I can kind of like save you some time with reading the documentation. Actually, I don't know if I can send you some snippet anywhere, but
Yeah, you can drop it in
like,
the chat and ping. I'll be able to see it.
oh, great. Okay, so just show you an example of kind of like a flow here. Let me find that. Okay. And ping. Oh, cool. Okay. If this works,
Oh,
I do.
here it goes. Okay.
This comes out as a very unformatted. Maybe, you know what? I'll just create a gist and send it to you real quick.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Hope this one works. Yep. So we'll go flow node, create gist. Sending it to you. This one is more legible.
Okay. Grab this link here. And we'll come out here, take a look at it. All right. So we're looking at a trigger type of GitHub PR lifecycle status. And then we set up a flow node switch. We switch on the event type, and then we get cases. So if it's opened, if it's completed. Okay. All right. I understand. Cool. So then I can take this piece here. Oops. And we're going to move back. And I'm going to say, if cases GitHub PR opened, then we want this, right? Oh, we need a do.
Yes.
Okay, so GitHub PR opened, we get a do. And then under the do how do I do conditions for that?
Let me see.
Is it just
When
like this?
I do believe so. Well, let me take a look real quick if I have an example here. If conditions, condition ID, GitHub is file modified. Yep, params framework. So like for Node, this is the file we want to have changed. Yep.
Okay, and then we want to put all of this back here.
Right.
Okay. And then that should be good enough for now. So let's try that one more time. Wait. Got my switch, and then I got my... Oh, I got to put my indentation at the right level. Yes. If, then, else. Okay. All right. Now, let's zip this up again. Drop this into the downloads folder. Good. And then we'll come back out here and try again. Here, upload a new version. This one.
No bug this time.
Trigger flow switch cases must be an array.
Oh, maybe it's a YAML thing where you have to like, let me see. If you look at my example. Oh, you think it could be it? Let me see real quick. Yep.
Going back to the gist. Wait, where was it? Here. GitHub PR open do.
Yep, and then it's every action ID is an array.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so I did this wrong. So we'll go back here, and then action ID. Okay, and then we got this. So do action ID params.
Actually, in this example that I gave you, there's no like if. I'm trying to see if I can come up with an example for that. Make it easier.
Action
for you
ID
to...
GitHub file modified. It seems like if I'm right, because with this one, it's the flow node. If conditions. Do I have to put a flow node in here?
But I'm checking. I'll be honest, I haven't been like writing a quest lately, so the syntax has changed a little bit. So I'm also trying to
Gotcha,
kind of like
gotcha.
look at documentation as we're live coding here. So let me see if I have an example. I think I have one here. Let me just see. 6PR, great. So I think the way it works is you actually you don't need a do here. After the when you have the cases and then you have like your let's say PR opened, you do then you put the if straight, no without the do. I think that was the problem.
Okay, so no do.
And no action here. You do if. So like on it when it's opened, you do if, and then let me take a look here. You do if conditions, and then you do the condition ID like with a dash. Sorry, I'm trying to
Right.
open the two windows. See, you can see it simultaneously. Oh, great, now it's open. Okay, so if conditions, yes, and then condition ID would be the GitHub file contain. I forget what the name is, but like the contain or changed in this case, right? We want the GitHub file changed.
Yeah,
Is
is file
modified. Great.
modified. Okay.
Put that as the condition ID, and then you put the. I think if it's not for a specific framework, you can drop the params framework node. You can just give it params directly. Because maybe you haven't mentioned it, but Wilco supports a few different backend frameworks. It could be like Rails or Node, or in this case, this is the front end stuff, so it applies to all of them because the front end is always real. And then you can drop the node line 27, and instead you can just give it the file name.
Okay.
I think the indentation looks right to me. Great. So in this case, yep. So we just want to make sure this file is modified. And if that's true, then do, and then the actions. I think that looks right now.
Okay. So let's give it a shot. Compress. Drop it down here. And back to here. We're going to upload a new version.
Okay. What does it say?
Let's see. Steps at parallelize async await calls. Switch cases. GitHub PR open .then is not allowed. So I screwed something up here. GitHub PR open .then. So it doesn't like these conditions.
Let me see. If conditions. Oh, I think the then should be everything that's then should be indented one tab to the right.
Here.
That's right. Right. Should be the same level as conditions.
Got it. Okay. YAML strikes again.
Yes. It's the you got to take the bitter with the sweet, right?
Hey!
There we go.
Okay, so
you can just tell him I'm ready. In this case, let's see if our new. Yep, awesome. Your new content is there.
I went faster than Keen. Okay, open and pull request with the fix. Okay, so then what I should get is if I go into, let's actually open this. And I can go to item fetcher, and we can, instead of doing it this way, what we will do is we'll do item comments equals await promise.all, and we will feed in these two pieces.
Awesome.
Okay. And then we can return those. So we actually could just like return await promise.all, but this is a little more readable to understand what the heck is going on. So I'm going to leave it. And this theoretically speaking, should solve our bug. So if I check my git status, there it is. We're going to do a git commit, and we'll say fix, parallelize, async calls. And then I need to, oh, wait, that's fine. Git checkout.
Oh yeah, you would do it on a
Fix
fresh.
async
I would also
await.
say, I'm not sure. We'll see if it works. The thing is that every time you start a quest, we kind of reset your repo, and it can also mess up the Git history because every quest is kind of like its
Oh,
own.
should I run the start quest and then do this?
Yeah, but maybe stash. Yeah, exactly. Save that so you don't have to write it again. Awesome. Yep, that should be
Okay,
good.
now I'm gonna git checkout, fix async await.
Awesome.
Oh, we'll just do that again, and then I'm gonna replace all this.
Sweet.
Fix, parallelize, async calls. Good, and then we're gonna push origin, fix async await 2. All right, so that's
Sweet.
off and running, and then I can do a PR create. Yes. I'm just gonna make it blank because I don't know what the details are. And there it goes. So we can come back out here. We've already got this open, so I can go to my pull request, see my async calls, and look at that. There's the approval.
That is awesome.
So that's pretty dope.
Right.
And then I assume we could also add, if we wanted, like, there's probably some conditions to make sure that the tests pass and stuff like that before it does this. So instead of PR opened, we could do like PR checks pass or something.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I think because
workflow complete, like this one, workflow complete success.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
If you put that as the exactly,
so we would swap
you wait for that, then
this
you wait for it
here. Okay. Pretty cool. And then, oh, and I guess we also probably got a message from Keem. You found the file. Good. Okay. So that's great. We could say something like, this looks great. Just approved. Go ahead and merge. Okay. And then we can, we could do more and more and all that good stuff. But this is, I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So upon merging, then we would just end the step. And so that's, I guess, the last piece is we need to like end the quest.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Now, would I do that as a case in here, or do I need a third step?
That's a good question. Let me take a look at another example that I have here. Yeah, you have another type of lifecycle event called GitHub PR merged, and then you do you can do the action, the ID of finish step.
Okay. So we drop this one in.
Yes.
It's at the right level.
Exactly.
And then it's action ID finish step.
That's
do
right.
I need a do?
And then just yes, you do need a do before that. That's right. With yes, just like that. And the on line 48, the type of event should be GitHub _PR _ merged.
Right.
Yep, that's the last step for completing this quest.
Okay, so now, am I going to need to recreate the PR, or can I just merge my existing one to get that to run, do you think?
You probably need to, like, if you merge it now, I think nothing will happen. Like, it will work. Like, you'll merge it, but Keen won't respond.
Let's upload a new version.
Oh, nice. You can do it from there. That's much easier.
Okay, we're going to upload, grab, here we go. And all right,
Sweet.
that's working. And then, I mean, let's just try it. Let's see if it does it.
Yeah, that'll be cool if it does. Interesting. Look at that. Like magic.
Hey, I finished the thing. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We've got we were able to make this thing. We were able to kind of walk through the steps. We got all of that stuff running, and now we've completed our quest. But this is all through the testing environment. So then the next step, I believe, is going to be actually making this a thing. So what happens from here once we've created this?
Right. Once you're happy with the result, you've tested it, you're like, this is, it's ready for prime time. You press the send to review button. That you can do that. It tells you a few things. We're very excited you're gonna send it. And this is a manual review process at the moment, where I get myself or anybody at the team, we get a notification that somebody submitted a new quest. We review it, make sure it's up to our standards, or there's nothing for various filters. And once it's ready to go, we kind of on our end, we can publish it. And I think you get a notification or an email that we've published it, and will actually be added to our quest catalog, which you can see. I think it's the second link on the left tab, the left menu. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of like feature quests, and under it there's what's called partner quest. There's some partners we work with, and I think at the very bottom right now, there's quest by Wilco, and this is community quest. So right now there's community quest. This will be called community quest, anything that users upload. And yeah, we're constantly kind of thinking of ways we can help other users discover more cool quests that people make and partners make.
Very cool. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. And so I could let's see, we've got about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less than 30 minutes. Do we have time? Well, actually, if we're going to try to test this, I'm not sure I know how I would test the difference between like two synchronous await calls versus a parallelized promise.all. Do you know how? I don't know how to test that.
I can think of one way. Okay. I actually thought about it beforehand as well.
Good. I'm glad you did.
I did not just come up with it. But yeah, I think one way if we wanted to write like a unit test for this, without at the actual like content, just like testing the behavior of this item fetcher component or function. I thought one cool way would be we could mock the network call. If you look at the file, the item fetcher file.
Let's go in here, item fetcher.
Yeah, at the top, we're importing this thing called agent. So I thought it would be cool, like if we write a jest, like a jest test that mocks the agent object, basically, right. And we could make kind of like a delayed, like a delayed promise over there, and we could test that whenever it's called, we kind of like take a time stamp of like when it was called, and we want to make sure that when both the like get items and get comments are called, that they're been called at the same time without the delay.
I got you. So we'll say parallelize. Parallelize.test, and then
yes,
I'm gonna.
If you want, I do have. If you don't want to kind of like do it from scratch, I do have a like a template I could give you, or like some stuff that I've done, or if you'd rather like think about it.
Let's. I mean, maybe guide me through it if we're gonna have enough time to do it. So what we want to test is let's see, check that async calls are made in parallel.
Yes.
Okay. And so then it would be it calls both the item and comments fetchers at the same time.
Awesome.
Right? Okay. If I can type the right characters here. Okay. So then am I going to need Puppeteer here?
Probably not. Yeah.
Okay.
This is more like a unit, right?
That's what I thought. And so then To mock, I have not done that in a while. Does that happen before?
Yes. Sometimes even at the top, where I wonder if I guess you can do it in the before all or before each. I think that should work as well.
Okay, so we'll do a before each, and we're going to. I'm not sure what's installed here. So what's the right way to mock?
I think maybe some documentation would actually just tell you you can use jest. You have jest available.
Okay.
When it's runs, you can like jest.mock.
Okay. And then I need to mock. I'll pull this one over to the side, and then we'll move the item. Oh wait, I can't. Wait, how is it testing?
Yeah. It will run in GitHub action. It will download as part of an action. It will download this file and run it in the repo.
Got it. Okay, so then in that case, I'm going to put this one over here and this one over here so that I can actually see what the heck is going on. And this is our agent. So I need to mock this request, which is to the API. So is it going to be this one?
It's going to be this file. I think that if you look at the item fetcher, I think it's easier to mock when you look at that one. So you got the agent, right, that we're importing, and then we do agent.item.get and agent.comments.forItem. I think that's the two functions we'll have to mock.
Oh, so I can just mock the actual. Oh, right. Of course you can. I was thinking I had to like mock the actual HTTP request, like the endpoint, and not the function itself. Okay, that makes more sense. So you will have to remind me because I have not. Much to everyone's chagrin, I don't write tests. So
we all, we all, it's kind of like what's it like. I was going to say brushing your teeth, but no, everybody brushes their teeth. I was trying to think of something that we say we do, but we don't. So I brush my teeth,
I brush my teeth. Who are you trying to convince, Lior? It's like when every time somebody comes back from the bathroom, they're like, I washed my hands.
I'm hygienic. Don't look at me like that. But yeah, basically what you want to do, well, we can actually mock the entire file because we're importing it. So you can do like just mock like you did. And I think you can do like a // and just give the file name, which is agent.js.
Okay. And that's right at the top level here.
Yes. I don't know if it's the right level, but I think it will be, let me see. Is it?
It's at the top level of source.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. Yeah. So dot / work, and then we basically want to give it the next thing is function. I think we want to give it like a function. Open parenthesis, like an anonymous function. Great. And then this is what we want to do. So we basically want to return like an object, I would say, right? I think it's going to be an object.
Right. So we're going to return an object that's going to have items.
Yes.
And it's also going to have comments.
Yes.
And each of those, for our purposes, just needs to have a getter.
Right.
Or no, this one needed a getter, and the other one needed a for each.
I think one of them is like .get and for item. Yes. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, and so each of these is async.
Right.
And we'll do an async. Right. Okay, and so what we need is to validate whether or not these were called at the same time. And to do that, do I need to use like a jest mock function instead of this anonymous function?
That's a good question. If there's like a jest function, what I was trying to do was basically just like do a date now and kind of, for each, like kind of like save. Imagine we had kind of like a like this thing I wanted to return. Trying to think how to do this. Actually, I don't know if it needs to return anything, or maybe it does. Let's say you do a Let me think about it for a minute. I think like you can do like give it a name, like let's say the get item request timestamp. Like
Okay,
imagine.
so I got you. So we're gonna go with um,
Yeah,
get
yes, you get
item
exactly.
timestamp
Yes.
and get comments timestamp.
I love that we're vibing on the same channel here. You kind of like complete my thoughts.
Get items timestamp would be date.now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And
Okay.
we do want to have, and do the same for the item one. And I think we do want to somehow simulate some like an await, kind of like something that it waits for. Maybe we can do like do you have like a quick sleep method you can do, or like a
Yeah,
promise that
we can do like a set timeout of
yes,
and then what do we want to just like do nothing really, and we'll make it wait for 1,000 milliseconds. And to make that actually
wait.
wait, how do we want to do that? We need to do it as like a promise, don't we? So we need to okay, so we're gonna return new promise, and that gets a resolve. And in here,
Yes,
we're going
we'll do the top.
to do this. We'll move this up, and then
Great.
we'll resolve.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our little sleeper. I'm going to copy this same thing over here. Okay, items timestamp, and we'll give this one a different length.
Right.
So that should result in these having very different timestamps at the beginning before the fix is in place.
Yes.
And the same timestamp. Is date now microseconds? Is that because won't that be a little bit different?
Let me check. That's true. I think, but if we run them at the same time, you think there's going to be like a microsecond difference?
And I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'm
Does give you it in,
underestimating.
yeah. I think I tested it and it did work, but we can try it. But I wonder about the execution. If there's like a slight, 2 milliseconds delay, will that be considered?
Let's try it. If it works, we'll call it close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. And if it doesn't work, then we'll figure it out. So
Right.
then what I need to do is I need to get our item fetcher, right? So I'm going to import get item and comments. And so I just need to like run this and then expect get comments timestamp to equal. Is it like that, or is it 2 dot equal?
No, it's just like that. Dot to equal,
okay. And then we need
the
to
other
get items timestamp.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
so
think
to import this, can I just do it like import get item and comments from, and this was
it'll be like dot / components.
Components, item, utils, item fetcher.
Great. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So theoretically, this works. Can I test this locally, or do I need to upload it first?
Unfortunately, you know what? Let me think about it. Well, I guess we could test it if you put it in the, in the right.
Put it in here, right?
Yeah, maybe. I haven't tested it like that. I just tested it on GitHub, but yeah, it should work. If you add a test there and then run it with Jest, I don't see why not.
Parallelize.test.js. And it goes, Prettier is unhappy. What are you unhappy about?
Something here.
Prettier could not be loaded. I care less about that. Oh. All right. So I'm going to come down and look into the
an async, an await call for in line 55 for the get item comments. I don't know if that matters or not. The in the test itself, line 55, or is it 35? The get item comment, I
35.
think.
Oh, right. Yes, good call. So this then needs to be async.
Great.
Okay. That's all good. All right. So then the next thing we need to do is we need to run these tests, which I'm going to do. How? Do you know the shorthand?
Should be like Node.js, right? Like, but I wonder if you have the
Great
everything
question.
installed. Yeah. The idea is we actually run everything through Docker Compose. I don't know if it's up. If you can, and then you can like bash into your Docker. If you do Docker Compose up, let's see if it works. What does it say?
Driver failed, programming external connectivity. Port is already allocated.
Oh, maybe it's running.
It's probably already running. So
we can try
let's
to
see.
do
Docker
ls, yes, or ls.
Yeah,
forget,
Docker
just
ls.
to see.
That's a good call.
Am I wrong? Maybe I was wrong.
Docker.
Maybe PS. That's list containers.
PS. Okay. Okay, so we do have one going here.
Yeah. Is it just for Mongo? I wonder if
status
if you're looking
up
at
44 minutes. That's the one we just started.
It looks like it's only Mongo. I wonder if like the other ones worked.
Great question. I can Docker stop. And I'm going to do Docker
I guess you can do
compose
Docker
up.
Compose, yeah, if you'd like to. Like maybe if you just, oh yeah, there we go.
Here's the rest of it.
Yep. So installing some things, and wanted to. Okay, I guess we'll have to wait till it's ready. But then in another terminal, you can do Docker exec. Like you can copy the name of the front end one. It's anything dash front end slash dash React. You can bash into it, and then we can run stuff inside it, like the test, for example.
Okay. You running?
Just needs to. I think it's running right now.
Okay. So then I go Docker exec
dash IT, I think, because you want the interactive terminal.
Okay.
Yes, and then bash at the end, maybe to be in a bash.
Like that?
Works. Yes. Cool.
Okay.
We're in there. And then I guess we want to maybe you can look at the package.json file.
That was what I was looking for, and I wasn't seeing it, and I must have been. Here it is. Okay.
Probably there. Oh.
So then we can run. Where are scripts? Test. So should be able to npm run test, right? So cd front end, npm run test. Is it going to React scripts test? Yeah. I should have. I don't know how to filter actually in this particular setup. So control sequence.
I think you can really give it.
That's fine.
See,
parallelize. Okay. Here we go. This is our test. Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. Uh-oh.
Interesting.
We forgot to do something. Do we need to return?
I don't think so. I think that's fine. I think it's just interesting. Oh, there we go.
It cannot find.
So the only thing is that maybe the path.
It's got to be relative to the, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Of course that makes sense. So we need to go up one, and then we need to get into, go up tests into components. Okay, so that's fine. And then for agent, we need to go up one to agent.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that I think on GitHub it will actually run from like the base, like it will run it with a different path. So I think what you did would work for the quest itself, but if you're running it like this, we need to make some adjustments.
Got it. F to run only failed tests. So test. Oh, what?
Oh, now it's like in watch mode. Interesting.
F.
No failed
No
tests
failed
found.
tests found.
That's interesting. I
Okay,
wonder
so
if you can
let's
just
run all tests. Did I do it?
I don't know. I've never run it this way, so I wonder
I don't know
with
what's
the
going on. I'm just gonna run it from scratch.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. You can also use yarn. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Okay. And hopefully this one runs. Parallelize. Come on, do the thing. Come on.
I wonder why it's so slow like this. Okay.
Does
Okay, we got a
not
fail.
like connection refused.
Wonder what it's trying to connect to. This looks like it's trying to connect. 3000 is like usually the backend service, but I wonder why. I mean, if you'd like, you can try to just commit the test, and we can try to run it as the quest. Like let GitHub Actions do its thing. If just because I know that it works there, I haven't tested it this way.
Okay, so let me make sure that we needed to await here, and then paths are correct here.
Yes, the path looked correct, and also you need the async for
Okay.
it.
And then do. Oh yeah, async.
Cool.
Okay, so now it's not yelling at me.
Yes.
Do I have to configure anything in the quest itself to get the test to run? I also
That's
feel like
a
I
great
need
question.
to delete this one.
Probably. Let me look real quickly, because I have done something like that recently. Let me see. I think you need for the step. Yeah, we do probably need for the step that does the actual PR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You'd want to yeah. So you want to have another under the start flow, kind of in the beginning of the quest. You want to define between trigger and the start flow. Let's say right after trigger.
Right after trigger.
Yeah, you want to do a new line before it. Sorry, before it. My bad.
Oh, gotcha.
So before that, you define what's called like at the top level GitHub Actions with camel case.
Is it
colon?
H camel?
Yes. No, that's fine. That's great
Okay.
like that. And then in a new line and tab, you want to define something on the front end. So you do front end colon. And I think all you need right now is a test file with a camel case. And then you just give it in string the test file, which was parallelize.test.js. I think you don't even have to give it the path because it expects it to be under tests.
Got it.
So just the file name. Yeah, I think that should do it. Pretty sure. Well, let's try that.
All right, let's give it a shot. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to compress. Okay. Put this over here. Good. Come back out to Wilco. We're going to remove from review, upload a new version.
That's right.
Awesome. Seems happy. Let's test it.
Yep. Yeah, we know we have to go all over again, but we can do a quick...
It's all right. We are fast. So I'm going to go to GitHub, Obelus, anything good, and then I'm going to run start quest.
Nice. You're a natural with this already.
Okay. And then the thing I forgot to do, which I guess I can just very quickly grab out of here, is the actual file changes. So let's go with the here. We're going to open up the item fetcher. Nope. Do you not have the view file? There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll save that. We will git checkout a branch. We'll call it fix.
Yes. Just remember before you make the PR to like answer the first question in the quest, because it's first like.
Right. You're right. Yep. Okay, so back here. Ready. Async. I'm too fast, Keen.
Yeah, like he can't believe it. How did you know?
All right, open a pull request with the fix. So we've got here is our change. I'm not gonna commit the other pieces, so we'll just git commit front end source components.
Yes.
That's gonna be good enough, and we'll say fix parallelize async calls. Okay, now I gotta remember how to exit Vim. Done. All right, so we'll push origin fix parallel with tests. PR create. Okay, so pull request is opened. It should wait for the checks to run now, which is good. That's what we want. So here's our checks. Yes. And
I wonder what the checks, if the checks are going to pick up. You can follow along, see if it picks up our test file.
Oh yeah, good call.
I'm actually curious. I don't recall doing that. Like I haven't done that in a while, so I wonder if it's just gonna
Wilco checks.
Find a file.
All right, so it's running our Wilco checks.
It is? Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's doing something.
Yeah.
Looks like it's linking dependencies now.
Right, so it's trying
small,
to run
isn't it? Let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Right. All right, doing yarn stuff.
Always doing the yarn stuff.
Okay. Testing. Oh, there's parallelize, and it didn't like it.
Failed.
It failed, but it did run the test.
Yes, that's awesome.
So, yeah, something weird is happening. We're not mocking this right.
Maybe. Oh, you know what? I think let's mock it outside of the before. I think it has to be at the top of the file.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, I think it's because it has to be before the import, I think. So you can just
has to be before the import. Okay, so just straight up take the whole shebang out.
Yeah, the whole enchilada, and put it exactly. I think that should do it, because then when you import, it's going to trying to call agent, but agent, if we put the mock afterwards, already imported the real file.
Right. Okay. That obviously. It's always stuff like that you're like, oh yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah. So I need to then re-upload my quest.
Yes.
So back out here, upload.
I wonder if it's going to work.
Oh wait, I need to do the thing first. Let's compress, replace. Back here, it's the one that we just created. Yes. Okay. And if this doesn't work, we might have to. If I just rerun this, what happens? Rerun failed jobs. Come on, do the thing. Just work.
If that's going to update and use the new file, I'm very curious. If you don't have to redo the quest.
Yeah, that's a good. I have no idea.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know either. I don't have all the pieces in my head right now to know if. I think it should. I mean, this is it's kind of like it starts it from scratch, and
it's like a GitHub action, right? So it should theoretically be pulling from the action itself and not from the cache.
that'll be super cool if we end on a green test. Let's see.
You here? Let's click in again.
Let's follow through.
See, here's our Wilco checks.
Hopefully we get some output soon when the next line comes up. So you usually you skip the tests usually?
I haven't worked on like production software in so long that everything I build is designed to live for a very short time.
Yeah.
Oh, did it work? No, it didn't work again, but this time we got a different error. So now it says
probably at the
here. It says the same thing. So something about what we're doing is unrelated to Wilco, more related to my inability to write test code, is preventing this from working. But we did see here that in one of these we fixed it. Yeah. So in one of these we got it right. We got our PR merged. Everything worked out the way we expected. We were all very happy. Here we go. This is the one where we actually fixed it. So once we get our test running, where the test is testing properly, then we can also check not just that like we added the right words, but that we actually, did the right thing. So this is some pretty powerful stuff. And if I understand correctly, you have a way, like anybody who's watching can go out and build one of these right now, following the same steps that we followed today. But there's an incentive because y'all are running a hackathon right now.
That is correct.
All right.
Thank you for mentioning.
Yes. If anybody watching wants to win a little cash, go build a quest for Wilco and submit it to this hackathon, because if you build a quest between the 8th and the 28th, you got a chance to win between $500 and $3,000 US. So get in there, get that registration. Outside of that, Lior, where else should people go if they want to learn more about this? I'm going to drop a link to the docs.
Yeah, I think trywilco.com. And if you want to look at the builder, it's dev.trywilco.com. Just to look at the docs for the SDK. And we'd love for people to try it out. We always love to hear feedback. We were just trying to catch up with all the crazy and amazing ideas that our community keeps bringing to our door. We want to be able to empower everybody to, get better at software at engineering, and to also help others now with the Quest Builder.
Mm-hmm.
I think we love our trade and we all want to get better, right?
Absolutely. All right. Well, Lior, thank you so much. For folks who want to follow along with Wilco development, you can go and follow Lior on Twitter. Make sure that you also go and get that Wilco. Go take Wilco's money. Go win this hackathon. This episode, like every episode, has been live captioned. So we've had Rachel here with us from Wilco Captioning all day. Thank you very much, Rachel, for being here. That's made possible through the support of our sponsors, Netlify, NX, New Relic, and brand new to the game, Pluralsight. Please go check them out. Thank you very much for making the show more accessible. Make sure you take a look at the schedule as well, because we've got so much good stuff coming up on the show. We are going to have every Tuesday now, I'm doing a longer stream. So come in, ask questions. I'm going to be working on personal projects. And then we've got Daniel Rowe from the Nux team coming on next week. We're going to talk about Nux 3 and Nitro. This is really cool. It's a big release. It's been a long time coming. So come figure out what's new in it's Nux 3 is using Vue 3. It's got Vite. It's got the Nitro server. Lots of cool stuff coming in there. Sebastian Lorber's coming to teach Docusaurus 2.0. We've got Jessica Sachs coming to teach us about Faker.js and component-driven development. She's going to help me get over my struggles with testing that we just proved exist. And we've got even more in the pipeline that I haven't had a chance to put up on the site yet, so stay tuned for details there. Remember, you can subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. I've got a newsletter under this Tips and Insights link up here. There are so many ways that you can get updates so that you don't miss an episode. A lot of good stuff coming up in 2023, so I'd love to have you follow along. Lior, any final words for everybody before we shut this thing down?
I just want to say this was a blast, and I didn't expect to have so much fun. And your pleasure to pair program with. I hope we get to do this again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Chat, as always, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next time.